So there's a couple of reasons metal 3D printing hasn't caught on the way it was hyped a few years back, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. So metal 3D printing has gained a lot of hype. So much hype that basically I cannot go into a meeting where we talk about FDM 3D printing and mass production 3D printer farms without somebody asking, are you ever going to do metal? And the answer to that is, at this moment, no. We really don't anticipate to do metal, but there's a reason for this. Metal 3D printing still has a very large technological hurdle. And the problem is it is not necessarily an engineering technological hurdle, it's almost a scientific technological hurdle. And the difference between those is an engineering hurdle you can see and you can say, okay, if we work at that, here's kind of a solution, we'll figure it out, there's a pathway to it. The scientific technological hurdle is we got to figure out how to do fusion. There's some fundamental piece of science that isn't figured out or is so complex that it doesn't really work. So with metal printing, whether of all the processes that exist, ultimately what they always come down to is you have metal powder suspended in a resin, a binder. You then print out the part, which is then a green part, which is just a glued together metal powder. You then take that glued together metal powder and you either debind it, you get rid of the resin out of it, and then it holds its shape, and then you put that into a sintering oven, and the sintering oven melts all the particles of metal together. So you eventually end up with what is essentially a cast metal part that can either be machined down a little bit more or something along those lines. Here is the problem. The first part of the process, the binder jetting or the binded powder, that's fine, that works great. That's very well proven. In fact, we print parts like that very often. The debinding, also not a problem. Debinding and removing that binding material is very easy. Heck, you can put it into the sinterer and just have it burn off. The problem is in the sintering oven. Here's the thing. In order to sinter a part reliably, you have to know every single detail about that part, and that part needs to be exposed in an oven to the perfect amount of heat, but not too much. So if you have something like a dumbbell or a kettlebell that you see at the gym. It has the handle on top and the ball of metal on the bottom. If you are making a part like that in a sintering oven, you run into a problem of the inconsistency in the geometry itself, to where the handle is going to heat up and bind much more quickly than the big old mass of metal down at the bottom. So you have to design for the sintering process so that the whole thing can be baked at a regular level. Another analogy to this is cooking cookies. If you have a bunch of small cookies, they will all bake in 15 minutes. But then if some kid comes along and puts a big old dollop of dough on your dish, now you have to bake it for a half hour to get all the stuff cooked and bound together. The baking of metal parts is causing a lot of problems because the rules change with each new part. If you're doing watch faces, you can load up 1,000 watch faces and figure out what is the formula, the recipe, for baking those watch faces 1,000 at a time inside of that oven. But then if you take it down to 500, well, the rules of baking then change. Or if you change to a different watch face or a different type of part, then the rules of cooking change again. And this is the problem that metal 3D printing has had, is that science of what is the correct way to bake something comes down to an art, like a lot of 3D printing. The guys eyeball it and they're like, it's not quite done cooking yet. We got to cook that for a little bit longer. There's not enough intelligence or enough science available to really quantify every possible variation that 3D printing can create. And what has happened is that for companies that are pursuing mass production of 3D printed parts, they work fine and they can do it. But the problem is they are not very flexible because they're able to do 1,000 watch faces. But you can only run 1,000 watch faces at a time because that's how the line is set up. You print them over here, you debind them, and then you bake them. And that oven is set up for 1,000 watch faces at a time and nothing else. And if you ever change what you're making, the change might be a bit easier than doing a new cast and new molds and that kind of thing. But it is a big change because you have to recreate a new recipe for the new part. And this is what's slowing down metal 3D printing adoption. It works fine at a smaller scale for shops and even hobbyists and that kind of thing. It's not that big of a deal because, again, you can eyeball it. It's part of the gig. Machining itself sometimes has some creative and artistic flair to it. It's not necessarily a hard science. But for a process to reach mass production, it has to be a hard science. And if it wants to hit the goals of what 3D printing is, which is high flexibility, then it really has to know the science. And metal just isn't there yet. And it's a fundamental problem that the industry has to solve before it's really scalable and can replace molding or casting at a large scale, because it has no more flexibility. The 3D printed metal machines for mass production are essentially large metal injection molding machines. So unless you're making a part with a unique geometry that requires printing to create that geometry, there are very few benefits to it over regular casting. We keep an eye on it, and we're really excited about what everybody is doing with metal, but it is just still too early, and it has this fundamental problem of how to cook a part and do it flexibly and reliably that just hasn't been fleshed out yet. So that's kind of the problem with metal 3D printing. Comment down below if there's other components of 3D printing or other parts of the industry that you want to talk about, and we'll try to get them answered. Thanks, everybody.